I'm so happy to finally be doing the podcast again. See if we can get hold of Nick. I mean, I know it's been a long time since the last episode, but you kind of forgotten about it, surely. Oh, there he is.
Hello.
He's back. We are back. It's been a long time. Yeah, it's been, I don't know, a couple of months or something. And I know that lots of you, we're getting people through coronavirus, really, with our morale-raising podcast, our morale-raising insight, and expert analysis. But it's the holidays now, but we just felt the urge. We just had to do it. We couldn't leave our fans hanging. So we're back with episode 7 of the podcast. Lucky 7. If you believe in that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know where to start, really, because obviously so much has happened since the last episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to go through every single score, am I? Or am I? You know what? Desperate times call for desperate measures. I'm going to have to do it. Right. Let me find... What was the last... What was the last thing that happened before we stopped? I think it was City Wolves. Right, let's go.
City 4, Wolves 1, Burnley 1, Leicester 1, Sheffield United 1, Aston Villa 0, Palace 0, Man United 0, West Brom 0, Everton 1, Liverpool 0, Chelsea 1, Fulham 0, Tottenham 1, Burnley 1, Arsenal 1, Sheffield United 0, Southampton 2, Aston Villa 0, Wolves 0, Brighton 1, Leicester 2, West Brom 0, Newcastle 0, Liverpool 0, Fulham 1, Man City 0, Manchester United 2, Tottenham 4, Crystal Palace 1, Chelsea 2, Everton 0, West Ham 2, Leeds 0, Man City 5, Southampton 2, Newcastle 1, Aston Villa 1, Leeds 0, Chelsea 0, Palace 1, West Brom 0, Everton 1, Burnley 2, Fulham 0, Man City 3, Southampton 1, Brighton 2, Leicester 5, Sheffield United 0, Arsenal 2, Tottenham 1, Manchester United 1, West Ham 0, Wolves 0, Liverpool 1, Fulham 1, Leeds 2, Brighton 3, Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 0, Tottenham 2, West Ham 3, Arsenal 3, Chelsea 2, West Brom 5, Leeds United 2, Sheffield United 1, Leicester City 0, Manchester City 2, Arsenal 0, Liverpool 3, Southampton 3, Burnley 2, Newcastle 2, Tottenham 2, Aston Villa 3, Fulham 1, United 2, Brighton 1, Everton 1, Palace 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, West Ham United 3.
Right. I hope that was somewhat... hope you could kind of make out the scores there. I was talking pretty fast, so... yeah. Hopefully you got the gist of it. There's so much. We can't obviously go over everything. We're gonna talk about the most recent game week, as we usually do, but I think I'll also talk about some of the most important games since the last episode. Sheffield United, they won against Aston Villa. They're down though, aren't they? They're down.
Has to be said.
Yeah, they beat Aston Villa 1-0, which was a really bad result for Villa if they're looking to get in the Europa League. So now they're on a slightly more respectable points tally. I think they're on target to beat Derby's worst ever Premier League points tally. But I think they can't achieve anything other than that. Liverpool 0, Chelsea 1. Right, so this was a good result. Nick was happy about this one. Even if he may not have been happy about a certain recent result. Do you want to say anything about the Liverpool game?
No, not really.
Yeah, I can tell he's angry. You know, he's usually in a better mood than this, but I can hear the, I can hear all the
disgust.
The impatience, the stirring up inside him, the disgust, yeah. He's never seen anything like it, really. None of us have. Liverpool lose at home to Fulham. Hey! Fulham are firmly in the relegation battle, but they could get out of it. They're 3 points behind Newcastle. Newcastle have a game in hand, but Newcastle have a worse goal difference. So one win for Fulham, one loss for Newcastle, and everything changes. So that is going to be exciting. City's 17 or 18 game unbeaten run in the league came to an end. They lost 2-0 at home to the noisy neighbours. Well, I think City are usually the noisy neighbours, aren't they? United are usually the lousy neighbours, but they won, actually, 2-0. Early penalty from Bruno Fernandes and Luke Shaw. I mean, I don't get the deal with Luke Shaw. Like, he's decent, but I don't think he's that world class. I mean, he's had a good season, but I don't know. He just seems generally solid all round, but I don't know whether he has any outstanding attributes.
Yeah, he's like one of those. He's not particularly attacking, and he's
Yeah,
not particularly.
he's just
solid
a
at the
standard
back
right
either.
back. Yeah, just a standard solid right back, really. Tottenham beat us 4-1, which was, I mean, it's probably the least disappointed I've ever been after a Palace game, because we weren't awful and Tottenham were pretty good. Harry Kane, I mean, it's good to see Bale doing well, but Harry Kane, oh my word.
What a player.
What a player. What a player. News, he's going to get a statue outside Wembley, apparently, if he gets the golden boot at the Euros, the upcoming Euros, the 2020, 2021, outside Wembley, yeah. I mean, I think that's a bit extreme because, I mean, he got the golden boot at the World Cup, having scored like 3 pens, one went in off his arse. You know, they're going in from all angles, so he kind of frauded one, but he is a great player.
If he can lead England to at least one trophy.
Of course, if we won something with Kane as the captain, then instant statue, bosh, put it in.
I think he also has to overtake Rooney's record as England's top goal scorer.
Yeah, I think he should instantly get a statue outside Spurs because he's the greatest player Spurs have ever had. But for England, just he could get 3 goals. We could go out in the first round and he could still get the golden boot. So it's not that much of an achievement, really, unless he actually earns it. But he is a phenomenal player. The goal he scored against us, where he just took it early from a kind of that corner of the box and just curled it into the far top corner. Unbelievable stuff. City beat Southampton 5-2 to get back to winning ways. We beat West Brom in one of the worst victories I've ever seen. You know, it really was hard watch. We won with Milivojevic penalty, but we didn't create anything apart from that. Arsenal won the derby, the North London derby, 2-1.
Yeah, but let's talk about that Lamela Rabona goal.
Was I've seen it's been voted the goal of the month, match of the day 2. Watch that. Great goal.
Deservedly.
It was, the thing about it was it's an unusual goal. It's not a goal. It's not just a standard kind of 25-yard screamer. It's a very unique goal, and it's so hard to do that, like to get the power on the Rabona, because whenever I do a Rabona, I can't get power on it. I just kind of chip it like 5 centimeters into the air.
Like the way he almost spins it into that bottom corner. It's just
the imagination and the execution, of course.
I don't think it was really imagination. I think it's just that he doesn't have a right foot.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Another thing he doesn't have is the ability to play 90 minutes because he got sent off in the 76th.
Oh.
We'll probably talk about that in the VAR. Or I don't even think this concerned VAR, really. I think it's just a moment of stupidity. Yeah. But anyway, Manchester United beat West Ham. Wolves lost at home to Liverpool. Liverpool got back into winning ways a bit there. Much needed result. Although Wolves had been poor this season, they've really suffered from not having Hotter and Doherty and of course Jimenez.
Yeah.
Awful injury, really. But I think he's nearing a return. He's been watching games from the sidelines recently. And of course, Adama Traore, who's been one of their standout players, hasn't really been reaching the heights that they've seen from him. I mean, bearing in mind, they finished 7th in the season they came up, and they finished 7th last season again. That's astonishing, really. But anyway, West Ham 3, Arsenal 3, West Ham 3-0 up. Surrendered their lead. Shocking first half an hour from Arsenal, but they came back through 2 own goals, and Lacazette's been in good form recently. But we get onto this game week, and we see some mad results. So, I mean, I'm just looking around. Man City beat Leicester 2-0 away. That was a great performance from them. Liverpool as well, clinical, beating Arsenal 3-0 away. There's some really good games here. Southampton 3, Burnley 2. They come from 2-0 down to win 3-2. Great stuff. Southampton are now 13th in the league. They're 2 points behind us, Palace. And I'm glad because I like Southampton doing well. We've talked about how we kind of like... They're a nice, kind of harmless South Coast club, you know. You can't really hate them. Newcastle 2, Tottenham 2. Tottenham again. They just don't have the cutting edge, and they also can't defend. I mean, Newcastle Tottenham, the defending in that game, some of it was really appalling.
Yeah, especially the first goal for Newcastle. They gave away the ball three
times.
In their own half.
They just had simple chances to clear it.
But I mean, Josh, you say the cutting edge. Just look at who they have up front.
No, they have
Kane.
They have Son and Kane, but they should be beating Newcastle away. I'm fine. It's not the cutting edge. This one was just the defending.
It's the quality.
Defending was really shocking. Yeah, the all-round quality, apart from Son and Kane, they don't have a single world-class player in their squad. Not a single one. Bale maybe, but...
I mean, Lloris, he made some top saves that game.
I think Lloris is... He's a bit of a klutz at this stage. He's past his best, isn't he?
Yeah,
he just makes too many mistakes, like De Gea. But yeah, good point for Newcastle. Really bad points dropped for Tottenham. They're currently 6th in the league, and Europa League. It's a familiar place for them. From at the start of the season, people were saying they're going to win the league. No chance at all. No chance in hell. Right. Is that an expression, no chance in hell? Do people say that?
No, I don't think so, but it is now.
It isn't. No chance in hell. So even if they were in one of the harshest conditions, like imaginable, where the heat is kind of, it tears the skin off your body, kind of like Fernando Llorente.
I didn't put that in the thing, mate.
Yeah, you said he ran too fast. His skin tore off his body.
Did I put it in there?
Yep, I'll link that in description. That clip.
It was such a long time ago, you know. You can't really remember.
I was talking about hell, and we suddenly got onto Fernando Llorente. I mean, I feel sorry for him that he's been linked in the same sentence as hell.
Mate, he played for Tottenham. I mean, that's pretty much hell, isn't it?
Okay. Chelsea fan, so kind of creeping in now. But there is one game from this weekend which we haven't touched upon yet, and it's a bit of an elephant in the room. Chelsea scored 2 fine goals, really fine goals, at home against Stamford Bridge. Beautiful goals, really. Christian Pulisic and Mason Mount. A beautiful Chelsea... Oh, wait, sorry, I'm just looking across to the right. So I'm seeing the 2, and then I'm seeing the hyphen in the middle. And I keep on going. And then... is that an upside down 2? No, it's a 5! West Bromwich Albion... who were going down, by the way. 5. Off you go. I know that you've got a lot to say. Hold on, I think he's left the call. I'm not sure why he's done that. Let's try and call him back. Give me a sec. Come on, Nick. Don't give up on us that easily. I think you left the call, mate. Was that...
Did I?
What was that for?
I'm so sorry. It's just I was listening to what you're saying.
Yeah, no, we were
just came over my body.
Yeah, we
were
just talking about the Chelsea West Brom game.
Oh, were we?
Don't understand why that would make you so angry. I was just wondering whether you've got anything to say about the game. Really, just coming from a Chelsea fan's point of view. Yeah. Now that you're back on the call doing the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot to say.
Yeah.
But not as much as Veer had to say, you know.
About Liverpool, yeah. He'd written pages. I'm still confident about
we'll reach the top 4.
Yeah. Still have faith in
I'm
Mr.
still
Tickle?
confident. Yep, I'm still confident in him. I like the way that he's shaped this Chelsea side. A bit like Mourinho, except, he is kind of like Mourinho, park the bus kind of playing.
He's an interesting character because he looks like a bit of a weed. And then you hear him in interviews and he's talking about, he's kind of dropping F-bombs, talking about how playing football is like going on dates and stuff.
Yeah,
he's a bit of a mad lad. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit like Mourinho, isn't it?
Yeah, Mourinho, the special one, sorry. No. Yeah, look, 2 goals at home, not bad. But 5 for the other team. What's gone on? What has gone on?
I think the first thing is, it's great to have Thiago Silva back in the side.
It was great to have him back.
Yeah,
until he yeeted himself out of the side again.
I think it's because, when you've been out of the team for so long,
you've been
watching from the sidelines, you have that constant rush, when you're back on the pitch. You want to
make a good
yourself.
impression, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You want to do something in that match. But I think a player with his experience should know that's not the way to...
Yeah, it was a clear red. They were both yellows. No complaints, really.
The second one was so unnecessary. He's already shot the ball.
I don't know, it's so clumsy. I don't think it's intentional. I just think it's really clumsy. He's trying to block the shot, but he's going about it as if he's trying to, do a last-ditch kind of sliding tackle. Like
There's a 1 in a million chance that's going in the top of the net, especially from a West Brom player. And he's decided that it's what Cristiano Ronaldo from point-blank range, and it's not. He doesn't need to do that. A bit too much commitment there.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean. He's trying to show that he's fully fit and he's ready to go. But he got sent off, and West Brom scored 2. Matheus Pereira scored 2 in added time at the end of the first half. The first one was just a long ball, but a great finish. And the second one, the composure. That was the one where I'm trying to remember the precise goal because there were just so many West Brom goals that I'm trying to distinguish each one.
I can remember very well.
So the second one, it was great composure, left and right, in and out, shake it all about, and a really clever finish in the near post.
We just struggled to
win.
Adapt to the red card, and even if we have got a red card, we shouldn't be conceding 5 goals at all. We should still be winning the game, even with 10 men, even with 9 men. I would still be confident that we could beat West Brom. But I think it's sort of the way that we set up. We've got 3 defenders, and we've got 2 wing backs. Emphasis on wing.
Yeah.
When you lose one of those centre backs, and you have your wing backs quite high up, that leaves you exposed with Robinson, who was it? Who's West
Robinson's
Brom's
the striker, and Pereira as well, I think.
Yeah, you got Pereira on one side, you got the other one, I don't even know their names, on the other side. It's a 3 against 2, and at times
Matt Phillips.
When you've got players playing with such composure on the West Brom side, they just had too much room and they had too much time to pick out their passes. And in the end, they were clinical. It was a really good performance.
They were clinical. No, undoubtedly their best performance of the season. What was I going to say? The fact that they were winning at half time, you'd think that Tuchel would go in and kind of say, we need to do this because we're losing. It's not as if they were winning and he told them to park the bus and they failed and they lost. But they were already losing. So you'd think he'd go in and tell them to do something, and they actually came out and were worse. The fact that who was it? Ziyech had to go off for Christensen, I think it was, because of the red card. So they needed to have more at the back. Now, who came on for who? No, sorry, Christensen.
Yeah.
Christensen came on for Ziyech. And so you lose a bit of creativity in midfield.
Yeah, but even when that happens...
Even then, you should have enough to win. You should have enough to win.
We're still really weak at the back. So I can't really blame it on Tuchel, but you kind of can, but you can't.
Well, you have to. The players and the manager have to take some of the blame.
I mean, when it got to 4-1, I think there you just lose confidence and.
Yeah. Well, the third goal kills it because 2-1 is still in the game, and then the third one just kills off the game.
Yeah.
It was a great third goal as well. Cross from the right, and what a finish! Kind of the flying volley. And then Diagne got another one. All of their goals were good goals, to be fair to them. There weren't any kind of scruffy goal line pinball ones. Timo Werner didn't want to embarrass himself again by missing, so he just passed it to Mount, who finished it into an empty net. And they got another one in added time, 5-2. Chelsea are currently, where are they in the league? They're 5th. 1 point behind West Ham, who won yesterday against Wolves, 3-2. 3-0 up, pegged back to 3-2. Flashbacks of the Arsenal game would have been going through West Ham fans' heads, I'm sure. But they clung on. And I'm sure you've seen the goals for this game.
Yeah.
Great
Lingard,
game.
wow.
Great goals. Lingardinho, he's had a great return to the Premier League. He's no longer a meme. He is what the Lingardinho name, suggests.
It's everything that the Eno ending for a name stands for. It stands for skill, composure, and goals. And he's providing all of those.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever seen a more Brazilian English player, really?
Yeah. The I in Eno stands for interesting. The N stands for...
I'm going to let you do this.
It stands for nautic.
Nautic?
Yeah, he likes... in Brazil, where the Eno name come from, when it's very hot, you like to go underwater, to cool yourself down.
Ah, I get you. Nautic.
Yeah, the H stands for happy, he's very happy.
You gotta be happy.
Yeah, he wasn't very happy at United, but now he's finally looking like he enjoys football at West Ham.
I think West Ham is a perfect fit for him.
The O stands for...
Omens. Omnipotent. Yeah.
Is that a word?
Yeah, like, kind of all-powerful.
Yeah.
That'll do. But anyway, goal and 2 assists. I mean, what a player. What a player. Never doubted him. The goal he scored after 6 minutes, poor defending, really. He just ran past the whole team from the halfway line. Antonio made a useful decoy run. But a great finish as well. A confident striker's finish, a striker in bad form might just hit it low and hard straight at the goalie, but he had the presence of mind and the composure to chip the goalie.
Yeah, Werner. No, but the second goal as well, he was pegged into the corner flag and he just looped the defender like it's nothing. Yeah, and that's incredible. Third one, also created by him, great run. I mean, just outpacing everyone.
There are 5 defenders against him and Jared Bowen, who we should have signed, by the way. But he still managed to find a way through.
You've got Benteke, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's in good form. I can't lie.
And you got Batshuayi, we'll talk about him later.
Who did score against Everton, and I'll talk about that in a minute.
Yep.
Good point. And then Leander Diplodendonkus. That's my nickname. Yeah, it works perfectly. I can't lie. Leandro Dendonka, anyway. Right, so yeah, I'm going to talk about the Palace game as well. Good point, really. It was entertaining to watch. I was much happier watching it. We looked awful at the back. We couldn't defend. They should have been like 4-0 up at half time. But in the second half, we really came out. We deserved the point in the second half. We got the goal we deserved. Batshuayi is clinical. And you know something? You know something crazy? We had a 53% possession. We had more possession
Whoa!
in a football game. When's the last time that's happened? That never happens.
1969.
1969. Yeah, we were so much more positive against Everton than we have been in recent weeks. And to be fair to Hodgson, his subs made the difference. He brought on Schlupp and Batshuayi. Within 2 minutes, Schlupp got the assist for Batshuayi. Great finish from Batshuayi as well. Really tight angle. James Rodriguez got the opener for Everton. Also a great goal. I mean, we had players all along the goal line, and he picked out the one spot.
Yeah, exactly.
It was insane.
I mean, Everton deserved that goal, to be honest.
Yeah, they did. No, I thought they were better in the first half, but I thought we were better in the second half.
Yeah.
They had a truckload of chances in the first half, like clear-cut chances. But yeah, I was happy. I was nice watching that and not being let down by some park the bus performance. We're currently 12th, 4 points behind Leeds, 2 points ahead of Southampton. Not going to get relegated, not going to achieve anything. But that's how it is being a Palace fan, really. That probably wraps up the Premier League. Not going to rant on for ages about every little game. But I want to talk about England, obviously, because we had the international break recently. So let's talk a bit about that. What a song. Remember ITV?
Yeah.
I mean, they still use it. But it is such a good song. It's too good for the thing that's representing, really. I don't think the quality of England's football really deserves this song. But international break. So 3 games, 3 wins. We beat the plumbers, bin men, and I'm not going to say farmers because I don't know how much farmland there actually is in San Marino. But the semi-professional footballers of San Marino, who put up a respectable performance. They lost 5-0. If you look at the teams on paper, that's a shocking result for England, really. If you actually consider the fact that San Marino only had 1 professional player in the entire side, and these are supposed to be and for us, it's the best professional footballers in the country. On paper, I know we might have taken the foot off the pedal, but on paper, if you look at, if you go into deep stats and stuff, and actually find a precise expected outcome, this is a shocking result for England. But never mind, we beat them 5-0. I mean, do we have to talk about it? The next game was slightly more competitive. We beat Albania 2-0. This was an interesting game. Harry Kane and Mount on the score sheet. Harry Kane is just so good, isn't he? His header for the first goal was just clinical. A true striker's header. And then Mount got a second one, which was also a clinical finish. And I know that Mount's his Chelsea player, so, I mean, what do you make of his progression in the England side? Because he looks like he's an England star for the future.
Yeah, he deserves to be there. I mean, he's been our best player this season, if I can say that.
Yeah.
I can't say that because I'm a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, of course you can. I think many people agree with you.
I have freedom of speech.
Well, yes, you do. We'll just leave it there. England 2, Poland 1. Good answer. England 2, Poland 1. So this was the third game. Poland were by far the best team that we played out of the 3. Lewandowski was not available. He had an injury. And he is obviously their best player by some distance. Yeah. But they're still a respectable footballing nation. And we only got the win over the line barely. The first goal, Kane, is clear pen on Sterling. And then Kane puts it away, like Kane does. And then it was a great pen, of course. And I like the way Kane takes penalty, just kind of smashes it, no messing around, no stuttering in the run-up, no paninkering, or that's some of that kind of South American, something that I'm not allowed to say. Just kind of get on with it, head down, smash it in, goalie no chance, straight down the middle. And then John Stones, who's had a great season for City, had a bit of a shocker. Just gave it straight to the Polish striker, and they put it away clinically. But then 5 minutes or so from time, John Stones makes up for it by heading back from the byline, which very athletically, by the way. He kind of jumps up and heads it backwards. It's quite impressive. And then slabhead Steve, Harry Maguire,
A striker's finish.
Showing he's worth every penny of what England didn't pay for him, because they get him for free, don't they? But no, great finish. Half volley. Well, it's not really a half volley, is it? It's a volley after a bounce. That's a common misconception. People often say half volley when they just mean volley, because a half volley is when you hit it as it's bouncing, not it's already bounced and then you hit it. But yeah, it was a good performance-ish. I mean, it wasn't the most convincing, but 3 wins, you'd think that's already enough for us to qualify. I think Poland are the hardest team we'll have to face in the whole thing, right? So, I think that's out of the way. The thing that stuck with me the most after this international break was why we had to wear our away kit at home against San Marino. I thought that was a disgrace. I don't know whether we were taking pity on them or something. And also, I'm just looking at the stats here, by the way, but 32 shots to 2, 15 on target to none, 85% possession, 910 passes to 167, 92% pass accuracy to 55, 7 corners to 1. Okay. We wiped the floor with them. But nice to see Ward-Prowse getting his first goal. I think Ward-Prowse is class. Ollie Watkins as well. So I'm looking forward to... I think Ward-Prowse and Mason Mount could be the England central midfield for the future. That's what I think. Ward-Prowse deserves to be a bigger club than Southampton. Well, I think he's a good fit for Southampton. I think he loves being at Southampton, and I know that Southampton love him. But he's a class player. Some of his free kicks, Beckham-esque. I'm sure you'll agree.
I think he'd do well at Chelsea.
Yeah, I know you mean. Yeah, him and Mount would be a great combination. Definitely.
Or if he wants to go like another step up, he could join Benteke at Crystal Palace,
Of course, then he'll just have the strike force to work with. He'll get loads of assists.
That would be the ultimate step forwards.
The ultimate step, of course, yeah. But I don't know. I don't think that we have the resources to bring him in, really, because we spent so much money on Benteke. We put so much effort into getting him that I think that I just don't know whether we'd have the resources to bring him in. We put so much investment into getting the world-class player of Benteke that I don't know whether we could fit another legend like him. But anyway, I think that's... Is there anything else you want to say about England?
No.
Okay, a very resounding answer there. And I'm sure I know why. You just can't wait to get onto the next section. But anyway, that's all about it for the that's about it for the England section. And I don't think there are any more international breaks till the end of the season. So that is that for now. But now, as I alluded to just before, it's time for probably the best section of this podcast. The bit that dedicated listeners are biting their nails, twiddling their fingers, waiting for. They've waited a long time for it, but I'm sure this one's going to be an absolute banger. And I say that every time, but this one I'm so pumped for it. So I've seen a bit of a preview of this one, not all of it, but a preview, and I know that the introduction blew me away. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to hand over to Nick for the third edition of Legends of Legends.
Welcome, everyone, to your favourite segment in your favourite football podcast. It's Legends of Legends. Now, today I've got a very special player lined up for you. I'm sure you all know him. He may have died down in popularity in recent years since his move afar, but we're back to bring him back to life, basically. We have a full story based on him, and I hope you enjoy. Marouane Fellaini. Here's your story. If Marouane Fellaini does ever hear this, I'd like to tell him that he has beautiful elbows. Okay, let's get started. In the Malaysian rainforests, where wild beasts roam, and the air is thin, a miracle of life occurred. Under the buttocks of a palm tree, gorillas itched in the gleaming sun, as they looked down on a pained pelican bird sitting on a spotted egg, the size of a baby elephant. Suddenly, the egg cracked and exploded under the extreme power it had been holding within it for so long. It was just too powerful to be encased anymore. The pelican and gorillas fled in fear of the god that was emerging from this egg, and he was born, Marouane Fellaini. Over the years, this godly figure grew strong and bold. He soon uncovered he had a rare talent. He had extraordinary hair, using his incredible IQ, an IQ that was so high that the IQ tests could only give him 0, as they could not count so high. He thought of what he was going to do with his prosperous mind and body he had been blessed with by the almighty pelican god called Bo Nong. He decided that due to his fantastic hair, he would become a footballer. It seemed the only logical option. So many years passed, and finally the prophecy was fulfilled. Long, long ago, a wise man, who went by the name of Dennis Wise, had prophesied that one day a god with fabulous hair would grace the Premier League and bring balance to the Southampton penalty spot, the most unbalanced and bumpy thing the Prem has ever seen. Almost as uneven as Josh's trim, though you can't actually see it. He landed on the Goodison Park field in superhero fashion, landing and sending ripples into outer space. What do you think caused the Haiti earthquake? He sent more transmissions to the aliens in 5 seconds than the scientists managed to do in 10 decades. Fellaini played football like no one had ever seen before. His passing was immaculate, always finding an opposition player. His tackling was on point, always making sure he got 100% of the player. He always made sure to apologise to the ref and the opponent if he got the ball. He considered this a sin, one that he should not be committing as the god he is. He also utilised his beautiful elbows in such a way that he could injure an entire title-winning team with a flick of the arm. He contained such power, he was of such brilliance. But his hair was what made him stand out from the rest. He used it to caress the ball into the back of the net without even looking at it. It was that easy. After many years of glory at Everton, winning a pack of Maltesers in a hair competition that he won by a far margin, and a comb that his aunt Pelican Abdel Hafid gave to him after he got a red card in a game against Bolton. You see where Marouane is from. You win the football game if you get the most cards, so you can see why there was a bit of confusion when Marouane's manager shouted at him after the game. He moved to Manchester United. It was hard to lure Marouane to the Manchester team, who were nothing before he enlightened them. It took a Mars bar and some deodorant to sign him into their squad, a record-breaking contract fee to this day. There he did much the same, terrorising the midfield. I mean, the midfield wasn't the only thing he terrorised, but I'm sure Marouane would like me to keep that a secret. Wouldn't want to ruin his brilliant reputation by revealing he terrorised little kids in the playground. Sorry, Marouane. In the end, Marouane thrived for something more challenging. he decided football was too easy for him and decided to undertake sumo wrestling. He knew he needed to eat a lot of food to prepare to take on the big sumos, so he decided to move to China to feast up and build his bulk. Upon arrival, Marouane ate many foods, but nothing cured his thirst and hunger. Nothing made him as big as he needed to take on these big men. One day, while trekking through a forest in Wuhan to relive memories of his childhood in the Malaysian rainforest, with his mother pelican and Bo Nong, he found a bat lying dead on the floor, smelling sumptuously rotten and tastefully infected. He decided to eat this delicious treat, but much to his surprise, it was the vilest thing he had ever eaten. Almost as vile as Salah's long-range goal against Chelsea in 2019. Absolutely disgusting. I hope he went to a cave deep in Egypt to think about his sins. Marouane felt quite bad after eating it. He started coughing and had a terrible fever. Using his incredible IQ, Marouane decided the solution to this illness was to go to everyone he knew in Wuhan and ask for medicine. Moving on a year, Marouane is feeling much better, but has heard of the mass outbreak of COVID-19 elsewhere, and wonders who could have started this terrible pandemic.
Okay, normally we do the VAR section around about now, but there hasn't been too much. And also, I just want to get this episode out, really, just to show people that, we're back. We're
back.
Yeah, we're back, in case you hadn't noticed, 40 minutes in. So, I just want to get this out, so I'm just going to speed along to the second best section in the podcast, probably my best section, which is, of course, the beloved Statman.
The Statman.
That was apparently a Romanian accent there, which is covering all parts of the globe. But, so first I'm going to start off. There are quite a few stats surrounding the Chelsea-West Brom game. Callum Robinson, all of his goals, his 4 or 5, have been against Chelsea. That's one. But the most amazing one I've seen is that West Brom, basically a third of their goals, 8 goals, out of their overall 25 this season have been against Chelsea. So essentially a third of their goals have been against Chelsea. That is just bonkers. Because obviously they scored 3 earlier in the season in the 3-3 draw. Another stat is that Chelsea conceding 8 goals against West Brom, that's the most they've conceded against one side in a Premier League season before. So that's a record. And also it's only the second time that they've conceded 5 at home in the Premier League. First time was against Arsenal. They lost 5-3 in 2011. And West Brom scored 5 for only the second time as well. Last doing so in 2012, and they beat Wolves 5-1. Moving on to some other clubs, Manchester City, they beat Leicester 2-0 away. They've kept more clean sheets and conceded fewer goals in all comps this season than any other side in Europe's top 5 leagues, so-called top 5 leagues. That does include a couple of farmers' leagues, I would assume. But that isn't astonishing, considering how you'd say their only weakness a couple of seasons ago when they won the league twice in a row was their defence. Now it's probably that they're not clinical enough because their defence is obviously one of the best in Europe. My final stat, and this one is amazing. This is a real pub quiz stat, right? Villa beat Fulham 3-1. Okay, and this was the first Premier League game ever in which every player who started was born after the inception of the league in 1992. So every player that started had had the Premier League for all their lives. So all the players were they're like 28 or younger, I suppose. That's incredible, really. I know Fulham are definitely a team with a lot of youngsters, but that is definitely a pub quiz one. that should about wrap things up for the stats section. That's probably the most we've ever had. Although quite a few of those concern the Chelsea West Brom game, much to Nick's delight, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're lucky. It's not. You're lucky. It's the holidays now because people are gonna forget about the game by the time we get back to school. Because they would destroy you. But yeah, that's about that.
Everybody started one way or the other, so check out my message to you. As a matter of fact, don't let nothing hold you back. If the Statman can do it, brother, so can you. I'm the Statman.
I think that that wraps up the episode, to be honest. No special guests on because I didn't want to have to drag them on at short notice because we spontaneously decided to do this because we thought we were going to have a bit of a long-term break, but we just couldn't go on without making an episode of the podcast. It'd been too long, and we were doing so well before. So I think this is probably the shortest episode since episode 1, which isn't a bad thing. 45 minutes, decent length. But anyway, yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back soon, hopefully, with all of the stuff that you want to hear. Thank you, Nick, for coming on and being a delightful co-host here. But until then, until the next episode, well, goodbye from him.
And goodbye from him.
Yeah, that was clean. Right, peace.